Hello, how's everybody doing? Welcome back to the channel. This time we're going to analyze one of the greatest fights I think of the year. Devin Haney versus George Kambosos. This is before the fight happening on Saturday, October 15. This is going to be a great fight. Of course, everybody knows the outcome of the first fight. Everybody know that Devin actually won the first fight, and it was pretty much just a one-sided fight. The fight had its moments, but overall, Haney was in control of the fight. It was a great fight. If you guys haven't seen this fight, I highly recommend to go see the highlights, or even sub the channel. You can actually find the entire fight. It was a great fight, and I'm definitely looking forward for this fight. And I think it's a fight that is worth analyzing and kind of looking at this. So let's focus on this. Let's look Haney the Dream versus Kambosos 2. What's the tell of the tape? They're both in their 20s. Devin 23, 5'9", Reach is 71. That's what makes a little bit of the difference. Pretty much they're about the same. Of course, Kambosos 28, 5'9". Although, if you see the fight, and I've seen the fight multiple times, just by the stance the Kambosos takes and the stance that Devin has, Haney looks a lot taller than him. It does. For some reason, and the first time I saw this fight, the first time I saw them fight, for some reason I thought the Kambosos was a lot shorter than the Dream, but no, they're actually the same height. The difference on the reach. And if you ever go and see the fight, and you see this fight, this upcoming fight, you're gonna realize that it's actually the reach who gives Devin Haney a huge advantage. I mean, he uses the jab beautifully, and that's truly what makes the difference. Other than that, it's about the same. I think another factor that is important to highlight for this fight is just that Kambosos normally takes a lot of punishment. He has taken a lot of punishment throughout the years. He took a lot of punishment on the first fight. He took a lot of punishment on the fight against Teofimo Lopez. And I think that's a big factor and something that needs to be considered. David Haney, case, is more defensive. He has great defensive skills. He uses his physical advantages to his advantage. So let's go ahead and analyze him. So Devin the Dream Haney. He has great boxing fundamentals, and that's something that we always have to take into consideration. He uses his jab beautifully, and he uses the long jab to keep his opponents at bay. So he has an excellent jab, and he uses the jab not only to keep his distance, but he actually uses as a rangefinder to land the right hand. So he does the 1-2. He sticks the jab and boom, right behind it, you get a right straight hand. He's not afraid to press the action. If you look at the first fight, he was coming forward. He knows when to go backwards. He knows when to stand his ground, but he knows when to press the action behind that jab, always behind that jab, and great head movement. So that's pretty good. You know, he's patient. He's very patient in his attack. He doesn't mind standing there, letting a few seconds go by, just using that jab, waiting to see what you're gonna do and then attack. So that plays in his advantage. He's able to handle the Kambosos power, and he truly is. We saw it on the first fight. Kambosos landed some brutal right hands, some brutal punches, but in reality, Devin took them well. Devin did very well taking his power, so I don't think that's going to change significantly for the second fight. He has great timing. He still needs to adjust a little bit, especially the way he heads in. He kind of lowers his body. He lowers his body a little bit. But other than that, he has great timing. You know, he's overall a great fighter. He has great rim movement. He knows when he needs to get there in the pocket, exchange. He knows how to land a few punches and then get out of there, stay out of the way, from danger, and just take his time to again regroup. But overall, Devin, I think, is one of the best fighters out there right now. Let's take a look, and let's take a look at another great fighter, an excellent fighter too. Different styles, but nevertheless a great fighter, George Kambosos. Of course, when we're talking about him, we cannot forget what he did to when he fought Teofimo Lopez. That's another fight that everybody thought Teofimo was going to win easily, but of course Kambosos has something different in mind. So what does he need to do to win this fight? He needs to be able to neutralize Haney's jab. That 4-inch advantage is a huge disadvantage that he has, and the fact that Devin knows how to use that jab in so many different ways, as a power jab, as a range finder, as a way to keep his distance, and for his timing. So that's something that George Kambosos really needs to neutralize. He needs to try to attack the body to slow Devin down. One thing that I noticed on the first fight, he never went to the body, and of course, it's understandable why. He kept getting tapped with the jab and those straight right hands and the way Devin moves. But hopefully he can go to the body. Really what he needs to do is he just needs to get inside and unload. And to do that, he's going to take some punishment. But we know that he can take the punishment. He can take a few punches of himself. But he's just going to have to get in there, get inside the pocket and unload and hopefully go to the body, keep mixing it up. He needs to try to time Haney when he comes up using the uppercut. Like I said, Devin Haney, you look in the picture on the upper left, kind of bends down, jabs, and then comes in. If he can time it with an uppercut, I think that can make some significant damage and work on Kambosos' benefit. And he just needs to make the adjustment throughout the fight. I know you have a fight plan. All boxers do. Unfortunately, when you get into the ring, a lot of things can change. And one thing that Kambosos needs to do, he needs to be able to make the adjustments throughout the fight if he wants to win this fight and make the significant changes. Both fighters are great fighters, and both of them can take great punches. Just the stance that Haney has, he looks like he's a lot taller, But I think overall we're gonna look at a great fight. I think that unfortunately just his boxing skills, posture, power, timing, I think they all benefit the dream. And I think the outcome is probably going to be the same. But then again, this is boxing. You can never count a boxer out. You just can't. You can never say, oh, this boxer is for sure going to win. Because we've seen it over and over again in boxing. One punch can truly take and change the outcome of the fight. We saw that on Ruiz versus Joshua. Nobody gave Andy Ruiz a chance of winning. And he even, got knocked down to the ground. He got up. Whether he got lucky with a punch or no, but he changed the outcome. So the same with this one. But I think overall, Devin, he prepares himself well. He's a very focused fighter. If you see, he's never out making headlines for getting himself in trouble or not training. I think his father's on his corner. So I think we're going to see a lot of that. Overall, I think this is going to be a great fight. This is for the Undisputed Lightweight Championship. Everything is on the line. And I think Devin, or at least I hope, that he knows where he's going in there to defend himself for. We saw with Andy Ruiz again. I'm got to go back to this fight. He took everything from Joshua. Unfortunately, he didn't prepare well. He let fame get into his head. He came very unprepared for the second fight, and we all saw the outcome. So I'm hoping that Devin prepares himself well, which I don't think that's going to be a problem. And I think he's going to be a great fight. I think for Kambosos, he's going to come very well prepared. He has he's fighting in his hometown. He's fighting back home. And I think he's going to want to have revenge and take all his belts. I think overall it's going to be a great fight. Make sure you guys tune in and watch this fight. But again, just on my analysis, I'm thinking again that Devin, the Dream, Haney is going to take this fight again. I'm not counting Kambosos out. I'll give it maybe a 60-40. But people can argue with that. Then we'll see. We'll see when the fight happens. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.